I sometimes am not able to process how it's way beyond ironic to see groups of young men in black boots and black pants, black shirts, black masks, and so on, beating up people who disagree with them, and then saying to them, "That's for you, you fascist." I mean, there just comes a point when you just have to just say, what can you do about this kind of ignorant hate?
Well, first of all, I think you're correct that today the closest equivalent of, let's say, Mussolini's black shirts of the 20s or Hitler's brown shirts are
Yes,
these Antifa guys, right? And the irony being, of course, that they march under the banner of anti-fascism. Well, the guy who taught them to do this was a refugee from Nazism, Herbert Marcuse, who taught in California. Marcuse basically fled Nazi Germany on account of its anti-Semitism, but I think he also lived there long enough to see that the German tactics of repression were effective. And Marcuse was a leftist, he was a Marxist. When he came to America, he essentially instructed the new left in the 60s. He said, you know, although we are the tolerant party, the left, he goes, we don't have to be tolerant of the intolerant. So if we can classify our enemies as intolerant, we're then justified in using any forms of repression. This was Marcuse's essay, Repressive Tolerance, of repression in shutting down dissent, eliminating free speech, and ultimately violating the civil rights of people who he thought did not deserve civil rights.
You know, in your last movie, you did such an amazing job of exposing the big lie that the Democrats are the party of Black America and that they're the friend to the working man and so on. And you basically showed what any reasonable read of history will tell you, that essentially the entire Confederacy was the Democratic Party in exile. I mean, really, it was just it. The Democrats packed their bags and left. McClellan wanted, in 64, he wanted basically to say, hey, you know what, the whole thing's a giant mistake. Come on back, bring your slaves. All of the Democrats were responsible, was Democrats for Jim Crow, Democrats for the Ku Klux Klan, and on and on and on and on and on. But because of their control of the culture and the media, the left was able to completely invert that and make the Republicans the bad guy. And you're saying they're doing and have been doing the same thing now with fascism in your new book, The Big Lie. They're telling a lie to cover up their own sins and place them on the people that we identify as American conservatives. And it's working.
One of the most explosive revelations in the new book is the lessons that Hitler directly derived from American progressives or from the Democratic Party. And I'll give you a single example that deals actually with Jim Crow. The Nazis who formulated the Nuremberg laws of 1935, they get together in a room and they're trying to create the world's first racial state. They even have a stenographer present to record this historic event, which will turn Jews into second-class citizens, confiscate Jewish property, outlaw intermarriage between Jews and Germans. Well, in the middle of the meeting, one of the Nazis stands up and goes, I studied in America, sorry guys, but you are not creating the world's first racist state. The Democrats in the United States have already done it. They've beaten us to the punch. So they've already got laws outlawing intermarriage. They've already got segregation. They already confiscate property. What we need to do is essentially take up those laws, cross out the word black, write in the word Jew, and we're off to the races. And so the point I'm trying to make is not just that there was a racial similarity, but that the Nazis actually drew upon the blueprint of democratic laws in the South in order to draw up the notorious Nuremberg laws.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like something you'd be able to sell to the American people today if you were truthful about all of that.